Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having an amazing day and that you're all doing well. To start things off, 3 years in the making, Bitcoin's first sidechain known as Liquid is now live. Launched by San Francisco startup Blockstream, Liquid is arguably the most advanced implementation of a technology called sidechains that's long been a holy grail for Bitcoin coders. Though what's being launched today may be a watered-down version of the original trustless version, still that doesn't dilute the capabilities of what the company founded by Bitcoin's top open source coders in 2014 has created. Built off of the Live blockchain, Liquid will now be used to carry large volumes of transactions at a higher speed for several of Bitcoin's largest companies. A notable milestone, Liquid has been in the process for quite some time. That's an understatement. Blockstream first unveiled the idea in 2015. Then the sidechain was launched in beta, then put into the test on Bitcoin's mainnet last year. Today, however, the network is finally opening up for all of Blockstream's partners to use for real transactions. Initial users include 23 Bitcoin companies, including exchanges, brokers, and other institutions who will help to manage the sidechain as well as use Liquid to send transactions. I'm not going to read through the entire actual list of all the companies. That is 22 companies too many to actually read through. With many of Bitcoin's big exchanges on board, the company made up 50% or 50 to 60% of Bitcoin's trading volume. This is according to data from CoinMarketCap. They said this will bolster the Bitcoin ecosystem because you can trade more securely and rapidly. This was said by Blockstream CSO Samson Mao. He told CoinDesk, "It's ready for commercial use. At this point, it's just a matter of getting exchanges to integrate," end quote. On a more technical level, the product works in a way that's akin to kind of digital alchemy. An exchange converts its Bitcoin into LBTC, the liquid Bitcoin token, which is pegged to actual Bitcoin. Once sent there, exchanges can move money around securely and much more quickly than on the main Bitcoin chain. If there's one thing our traders need, it's speed. Liquid delivers that in spades. This was said by Paolo Ardoino, CTO of Bitfinex, in a statement. He also said, Liquid's instant settlements will allow our traders to achieve faster Bitcoin deposits and withdrawals, more efficient arbitrage, and even better pricing through tighter spreads, end quote. This has been quite a long time in the making. I thought this was a little interesting that this has officially launched, and when this happened, this was also around the same exact time where Bitcoin kind of slipped in price. And there has been so many things that have happened or that I've been waiting for or that other people have been talking about that they were going to launch, and when these things finally get launched, you usually have the idea that if someone has created a proper sidechain for Bitcoin that will allow transactions to go a bit quicker on the network, even if they are off-chain and still attached to the network, that the price would have gone up a little bit and people would have been a bit excited that something like this has been in the works for 3 years now, would have had a bit more of an impact on the price. Lo and behold, it does not. This leads me, if you've noticed this entire year, what's been happening is that every single time that we have some coin that ends up having an announcement or some type of an upgrade, the price actually goes down for it, and I don't understand why 100% this is happening. This leads me to believe that we could also see a moment where Ethereum announces that they're finally going to have their updates, and if the Ethereum price goes down after that, I have no idea what to think about cryptocurrencies anymore. So the point is that we now have Lightning, more or less. Lightning is dependent on the amount of exchanges and other places that are going to actually end up using it. The same exact thing with SegWit. We had news a couple of days ago that I think around 50% of people are now accepting and using SegWit transactions. So the same exact thing is going to happen for Liquid and for Lightning as well. It's all a matter of people actually jumping on board and using the things themselves. Hopefully this will have some type of an impact on the Bitcoin price and also on the more of like a bullish nature of exactly what's happening for Bitcoin. As of now, I mean, what we really have is a situation where I was reading an article, and I don't have it on here because I can only talk about it for like 15 seconds, and they were saying that Bitcoin's only hope right now is the SEC, which is kind of depressing. It pretty much said we have Liquid, we have Lightning, more or less. We have other people trying to build a couple of other updates, but Bitcoin can only do so much on the actual main chain, and the price still hasn't moved. There hasn't been any bullish movements. So they think, or the article said that they believe that the only thing that will cause any type of an actual movement or major movement and Bitcoin's price to get us above 8,000 and gearing us to get towards the $10,000 level will be I think the article actually said like SEC blessing us, which I said is, rather depressing. Something's going to happen at some point, but it's nice to hear. I mean, if anything else, prices have been down. Things haven't been going exactly how we wanted them to, but at least this year has been more or less been a time where everyone has been able to update their systems. Because if we had another rally in 2019 and 2018, no one had been updating anything or activating anything, we would have had a very difficult 2019. So let's hope that at least, if anything, like I said, 2018 has been the year of updates and upgrades, so that 2019 can hopefully go a lot smoother than the prices in 2018 have gone. Next up, Mr. Charlie Lee is once again in the news. Charlie Lee, the founder and the managing director of the Litecoin Foundation, mentioned in an interview that Monero is one of the projects that interests him. He stated that the coin has two significant features: privacy, and fungibility. Furthermore, he believes that the mentioned features are missing from Bitcoin and from Litecoin, and also emphasized its importance. In his words, he said, "Another project that I'm interested in is Monero. I think a bit of privacy and fungibility is something that's missing from Bitcoin and Litecoin, and it's very much needed," end quote. This is not the first time Charlie has shown an inclination towards privacy features in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. In the month of August, he conducted a public poll on which privacy protocol can be integrated into Litecoin. The three options he gave to his Twitter followers were confidential transactions, Mimblewimble, and ZK Snarks or ZK Starks. It was evident that the Litecoin community was interested in seeing the cryptocurrency carry a privacy feature, since the poll attracted much attention from everywhere. The highest percentage of votes was 45% won by confidential transactions, followed by ZK Snarks. Mimblewimble got the least votes of 12%, whereas 22% of voters suggested adding no privacy features at all onto the network, which I think is a mistake. Where do I begin? I've said for quite some time that I think... I don't think Bitcoin is going to have any privacy features anytime soon, and that's more or less because the people who are running Bitcoin and developing on Bitcoin, I think they think it'll be detrimental to the price of the project or the coin if they add those type of features on top of it, which is something that they shouldn't really be caring about as far as the price, but money is the main goal for a lot of people. When it comes to Litecoin, Charlie Lee has kind of been all over the place the last couple of weeks, months, what have you. I am hopeful in a certain way that he would kind of take center stage and make Litecoin private before Bitcoin, because I think that him doing that would get people to start to scream that Bitcoin should also have the exact same features. Charlie Lee typically... he has made sure that Litecoin has implemented things before it was actually written on top of Bitcoin. And I think this is a very important one that needs to be done as well. I think the only way that we're going to have the entire cryptocurrency space become better for us as users, as far as like our own privacy and what we do with our own money, is to get some of the larger coins to be able to activate this. I don't see Ethereum doing this anytime soon either, especially... how I feel about it, as far as there's been interest from a lot of governments who are trying to build stuff on top of Ethereum, and especially the Russian government, who has spoken directly to Vitalik Buterin about building stuff on top of them. And I think also they talked about building their crypto ruble, like their own digital currency on top of Ethereum as well. I have a feeling if Ethereum had implemented some type of heavy form of privacy features, they would lose maybe a lot of their partnerships. I would like Charlie Lee to actually step up to the plate and actually do something like this. It shows that there are definitely a large amount of people who are definitely interested in something like this. The vast majority is more or less voting for some type of privacy feature. So it would be nice if they implemented it. There was also something a couple of, a couple of days ago where they were talking about, it wasn't Litecoin. Was it Bitcoin? I can't remember exactly what it was. Someone was talking about implementing some type of one of the ZK snarks or something like that on top of one of the other coins. I think the quicker this happens, the better. I feel like if the tech has been tested between Zcash, Monero, and Dash, and a lot of the other privacy coins that we have out there, that it can definitely be thrown on top of Litecoin and or test netted at least for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, because I would feel a lot better about the Litecoin project if they took the initiative. I feel like a lot of what Litecoin has done has kind of been like following what other people's doing. I don't know. I have my own feelings about Litecoin. But anyway, this is the Charlie Lee Litecoin. Are they going to turn privacy coin in the near future type of news? Let's hope that they do it and then other coins end up following suit. That would be very, very nice. Coinbase is in the news. Crypto exchange Coinbase just added the 0x protocol token to its professional trading platform known as Coinbase Pro. Announced on Thursday, the exchange said in a blog post that it had begun accepting deposits for 0x and would enable trading around 5 a.m. UTC or after at least 12 hours after the initial announcement. The move represents the first time the platform has added support for an ERC20 token that runs on the Ethereum network. They said, once sufficient liquidity is established, trading will begin on 0x to USD, 0x to Euro, 0x to Bitcoin order books. 0x trading will be accessible for users in most jurisdictions, but will not initially be available for residents of the state of New York. My goodness. This was said by Coinbase Pro General Manager David Farmer. What I think is weird about all of this constantly, every single time, and I'm going to continue saying it until it actually changes. So many platforms announce that they need sufficient liquidity, especially Coinbase. This is one of their major taglines. We need sufficient liquidity before this can actually end up going through. Same exact thing they said with Bitcoin Cash. Same exact thing they said with Ethereum Classic. But they always end up linking trading pairs to the US dollar, the euro, and just to Bitcoin. Wouldn't it make more sense if you want sufficient liquidity across the board? And I mean, Coinbase only has 5 coins. Wouldn't it just make sense to link 0x to every single one of those coins so that if you had a Litecoin or Ethereum Classic, you could also trade it against 0x? Yeah. While 0x is available through Coinbase Pro, it is not presently available to investors through Coinbase.com or its iOS and Android apps. Like some of the previous rollouts, the addition of 0x will see 4 stages. They are transfer only, post only, limit only, and full trading. The token's price began pumping after the announcement, jumping to its highest point since mid-August. This was according to data from CoinMarketCap. At the time, I checked it a couple minutes ago. Even this might be a couple hours behind. The price has already started slinking back down. I think it may see more of a bit of movement once, once it's like properly added onto their platform. But even then, and I 38,000% honesty, raise your hand if you had actually heard about 0x before. There's been a lot of hype around 0x, and it came completely out of left field, regardless of how great their project might be or what they might be doing. No one had ever heard of 0x before any of this started happening. And I think, I don't know, they're never in the news. They're never really around. And, I check multiple places for news every single day in order to give you guys the news. And every time that I've seen them in the last 2 months, it's been that other exchanges are adding them, and they're only adding them because they are pretty sure, or were pretty sure at this point, that Coinbase was going to add them. Anyway, Coinbase has finally added a new coin. It's been about 27 years. They finally did it. Let's hope that they end up adding the other ones to their actual platform. We still have 4 other coins. It is, I think it's Zcash, Cardano, BAT, and Stellar. No news about them. And I wish they had just rolled out everything at once, but Coinbase is interesting, and the fact that people in New York still it's just ridiculous. The way that laws and stuff work in the States is absolutely just incredible. Anyway, let's move on from this. Next up, at least 5 more university endowments have invested in cryptocurrency funds. suggesting that the herd of institutional investors is finally beginning to place at least a small bet on the nascent asset class. As first reported by The Information, a cadre of major educational institutions, including Harvard University, Stanford University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Dartmouth College, and the University of North Carolina, have each invested in at least one cryptocurrency fund through their respective endowments. Citing an unnamed source, why not, familiar with the investments, the publication reported that these 5 university endowments have invested tens of millions of dollars in these funds, which in turn invest in both physical cryptocurrencies and equities and cryptocurrency companies. CCN reported that Yale University, which controls the second largest university endowment next to Harvard, had allocated a portion of its $29.4 billion in assets into 2 cryptocurrency funds operated by Andreessen Horowitz and Paradigm. Even with these investments, the 6 universities that are now said to have invested in crypto funds still have very little exposure to the asset class. Nevertheless, the fact that they are engaging with the market at all could help legitimize the cryptocurrency space. Someone said, a move by endowments into funds that will directly bet on cryptocurrency signals a major shift in investor sentiment towards the asset class, in the same way that institutions over the past decade became more willing to invest in private tech companies. Backing from such closely watched institutions could help validate cryptocurrencies, which are still considered too risky by many institutional investors, end quote. This was said by journalist John Victor. Cryptocurrency investors and analysts such as Mike Novogratz had long predicted that a herd of institutional investors would power the next Bitcoin bull market. Ari Paul, a cryptocurrency fund manager and a former portfolio manager at the University of Chicago's endowment, said in April that he believed that a number of institutions were interested in investing in cryptocurrency, but were waiting for major names such as Yale to make the first move so that they would have an excuse to do so themselves. This is why I said a couple of days ago why that news was very significant. I think a lot of people, it completely went over their heads. I saw it on a lot of cryptocurrency news websites were not reporting on the fact that Yale University had actually gotten into cryptocurrencies, because I feel like they didn't understand the significance of it. When you have, Yale is basically a company, same exact thing with Harvard, same exact thing with Brown and all these other schools as well. They are education for money places. And the fact, remember I said before, everyone was waiting for the domino to kind of, fall. When you have a major university like any of these getting into the cryptocurrency space, the other small universities, no matter if they are 2-year schools, 4-year schools, whatever they might be, they're going to start trying to get into the cryptocurrency space as well, because they see that if the bigger players are making money, then they also have to try and make money, because you have to try and remain relevant in the United States when it comes to university, because this is how you get people to apply to your school. For those who do not know or have not been to the States or have not lived in the States, this is exactly how it works. It's still on the discussion then, if they are into the cryptocurrency space or have been into the cryptocurrency space and have been for quite some time, or maybe a couple of months, and maybe even a year, they're probably buying over the counter, which is why we haven't seen any movements. If everyone who's actually into cryptocurrency right now and has gotten in the last 9, 10, 11, 12 months, let's say exactly a year from this moment, I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices would have been extremely higher. I can probably safely say the amount of money that we've had in the news and stuff like that from people who've been buying in, $100 million this, starting a $100 million fund, these people who are like locking up their cryptocurrencies in mountains and all this other crazy stuff that's happening around the world. Bitcoin would probably at least be between 10 to 12,000 right now. It still makes me wonder then how the market is going to move when, I don't know. Like, I wonder, will the market take into account the fact that so many people have been buying over the counter? I wonder if this reflects on the actual, so like you can buy over the counter from exchanges directly. This is probably where they're buying their cryptocurrencies from. Will it then reflect on the actual exchange when people try to buy and they realize that several 100,000 or several million of a certain coin are just not there anymore? I don't know. It's all kind of interesting. Not even speculation at this point. We know that this is actually happening in these universities. Let's hope that it continues, and let's hope that one of them slips up and actually buys through a cryptocurrency exchange. I think that would be kind of fun. Anyway, let's move on. Last up, we have news from South Korea. The South Korean government will make a decision in November on whether it will allow ICOs again in the country. This was said by a top-level official. Hong Nam-ki, head of the Office for Government Policy Coordination, told lawmakers during the National Assembly's annual audit on government actions that regulators in the country have been reviewing the topic in recent months. Hong added that the Financial Services Commission, or the FSC, South Korea's market watchdog, has been conducting surveys on ICOs since September. They should have been doing it way before that. He said, "We are going to form the position of the government in November based on the results of the investigation at the end of October," end quote. Hong was reported responding to the question on ICO permission raised by Jeon Haeun-chul, a lawmaker from the ruling Democratic Party, who voiced support for lifting the current ICO ban. He said, "If we waste time, the blockchain industry could face huge difficulties. We need to look at very realistic and specific ways to nurture the blockchain industry, and I think permitting ICOs is one of them," end quote. That said, Choi Gong-gu, chairman of the FSC, voiced his concern again in a meeting today against the idea of allowing ICOs. According to a news report from Yonhap, many people say ICOs should not be allowed, but uncertainty remains, and the damage is too serious and obvious, end quote. In September 2017, the FSC notably issued a ban on domestic ICOs. Whoa, sorry about that. I think my mic just came out. Sorry if you didn't. Sorry, that sounded even crazy in my ears. In September 2017, the FSC notably issued a ban on domestic ICOs, following a similar move made by regulators in China. However, Hong said some crypto projects continued selling tokens to domestic residents by registering their businesses overseas. Time is drawing near, I hope. I am not that hopeful that we'll see an actual notice or someone will actually say something in November. A lot of countries have been saying that we were going to get news, or people on their countries were going to get news about exactly what's legal since around April, May, and then it was August, and then it was September. They're saying November. I think there was also news a couple days ago, I remember, about India, I think, talking about that they were also going to try and aim for the end of October or sometime in November to also give rules. It feels like one, like a really weird game of cat and mouse where there isn't a cat and a mouse. It's just like everyone is constantly waiting for the U.S. to say something, and the U.S. isn't saying anything, and everyone keeps pushing their... Every country is so afraid of giving some type of law or ruling that they think won't be as good as the U.S., if that makes sense. I feel like other countries are afraid of giving laws and rules regarding ICOs and cryptocurrencies and securities and commodities in their country, because I think if they think that the U.S. does something that then takes away the money from their country, then they're kind of left in the dust. But if all these countries had just gotten it together and had given us rules in January or February, like when they were first talking about this since last August, I feel like they would already have been a lot farther than the U.S. Whatever the case, whatever. I have my own theories for how the inner workings of the world elite work. But the fact is, as of now, hopefully South Korea gets some type of information by November. South Korea is one of the largest players in the cryptocurrency market. With South Korea, Japan, and more or less the U.S. that's kind of slinking down. But South Korea last year was actually able to move the markets just on news that they had. So if we get some type of good news for ICOs, and hopefully also good news onto the state of cryptocurrency and the overall legality of it within the country, hopefully prices will move up. All right, everyone, that is definitely going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. Let's hope the prices, I don't know, we're next to the weekend right now, and typically the weekend is a bit of a low time when it comes to cryptocurrency prices. So let's all cross our fingers and hope that prices don't slink down even further this weekend. Thank you once again, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you.